Well, we're talking about how failure is not final, and you're pretty passionate about this subject.
Well, I'm pretty passionate about it because I sort of have my PhD in failure, and I decided,
Me too.
and I decided that it was easier just to own it and help others kind of get over it instead of just having the pity party continue. So yes, I am, and I've kind of come up with my little strategy to get over it faster.
Share. You can help me and a lot of people out there.
Well, the first thing is that you have to acknowledge it, and this is such an uncomfortable.
That's hard to do.
It's horrible because you have to say, yeah, I blew it. I didn't follow up with that client, or I didn't hit my sales numbers. The next thing that you have to do is you have to really just face it head on, and you have to say, okay, I blew it, but now what? So I don't want to do that again. What should I do? And that leads us to our third tip, which is glean the message from it, because there always is something. I mean, it's not probably the first time that you haven't hit your sales numbers, or that a client has said, listen, you lost me as a client because you didn't follow up, or the customer service. And so this is the part where you really have to look at yourself and really ask yourself the hard questions, like what could I have done differently, and really change those patterns. And then the next one is to ask for help. I would get so in my head thinking I was the only one that had this business problem. Right. And I was the only one that had gone through it, and the only one that was so challenged in a particular area. But it's so great when you just reach out and you say, listen, I don't know how to do this. I'm not good at it. I'm continuing to make the same mistake over and over again. What should I do? And it's amazing when you raise your hand and ask for help, how many people are willing to help you.
Right.
And
you just have to swallow your pride.
You just have to swallow your pride. And you know what? The best part about it is it gets so much easier once you do swallow your pride. So I think that's kind of part of this step too, is just getting used to saying, okay, ask for help. And then you kind of don't even know, you don't even feel dumb anymore. You're just running around asking for help. And the last piece is then, I think, to help other people. Because let's face it, when you have to teach something to somebody else, you really know it. And so if you can share your story of, hey, listen, I was trying to drive my sales numbers, but my profit margins weren't intact, it's just a faster way to go out of business, really, if you don't attack the problem. So if you can help somebody else and explain how you got through it, you're in really, really good shape. And then it doesn't seem like, oh, this is so, horrible, and like nothing, good has come out of it. Then you really can say, wow, not only did I fix my own situation, but maybe I got somebody else over the hump.
Yeah, I think human tendency is to cast the blame on other people.
Right.
Oh, I didn't, what retailers do all the time. We didn't meet our sales numbers because the weather was terrible, it was cold, and no one came into the shopping mall.
And I think that's and I think that's my big message here, is that small businesses especially, you get so much further if you just raise your hand and say, fine, it's my fault. Because then
we could have done something to encourage people to come in. There's always something that you can do instead of casting blame.
Every one of us can do, and if you can get to that space of, fine, I'm the boss, I'm in charge, I blew it, even if it was your accountant or the weather or something else, you still are responsible. So maybe just the message is, you've got to have a rainy day plan, you've got to have another stream of business.
It's also, when you think of a typical customer service call, I know you've had them. I think our goal as the dissatisfied customer is to get that company to say they messed up.
Sure.
And it's hard to do.
Yes.
But every now and then you get that customer service rep that you love that says, we're wrong. We're so sorry for inconveniencing you. And then do you notice your aggressive nature, or my aggressive nature?
Just diffuses.
It diffuses, because I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Well, and we just really, at the end of the day, want to be heard. And so it's like, if you get it off your chest and the person is like, I'm so sorry, I can't imagine how, bad that was, or how that made you feel or inconvenienced you, it's like a breath of fresh air, and it so doesn't happen that you're kind of like, it really is the best way to handle it, customer service. I think it's the best way to handle it.
I love you, and I'll shop here again.
Right, and then you have a customer for life, and then we can have a whole marketing segment about that. How you they turned this around, they were amazing, and what do? You tell their people.
Can you share one of your biggest failures for us?
There are so many. How much time do you have? I would say probably when I started out in the restaurant business, and I was so focused on my sales numbers and not on matching that with a profit number. And so I just kept chasing sales, but because I hadn't taken the time in the beginning to really work on my profit margins and make sure that they were intact in each segment of my business, not just, for the lunch entrees, but also for the events that we were doing. And so the more I chased sales, it was kind of what I said before. All I did was just try to put myself out of business faster, because I was focused on
you were bringing in the money, but it was going out the door because you were paying everybody.
Right, because I was paying everybody, and I didn't have enough buffer. And so what I learned is, you know, the chicken or the egg thing, like you focus on your numbers, your margins, then you build from there, because then you're secure that the money coming in is really going to grow your business.
Right.
And so when I I was the classic raise my hand, blaming everybody under the sun. I didn't get my financials from my accountant fast enough. I didn't get this. The chef didn't give me whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. But the point is, when I finally said, listen, it's my problem, it's my fault, then I went on to write I changed my strategy, went on to write a book about it. And I wouldn't have had my book or any of this if I hadn't raised my hand and said, I blew it.
That's the best way to end this show on a Friday. Thank you for coming on again.
Thanks for having me on.
We will put your website up on the screen. And thank you, everybody, for watching.